Tales of pirates in Atlantic Canada. Their legend is worth keeping around. But has anyone actually had a pirate experience? The boys want to explore Nova Scotian pirate past. So they start their journey in the Mahone Bay Pirate Parade.
We will rob you, rob you, rob you, rob you. We will rob you.
Luke and Jock jump in with their fellow pirates for the annual celebration of Mahone Bay's historic connection to the sea.
We will rob you. Singing, we will rob you, rob you, rob you, rob you. We will rob you. Lady of the sea. We will rob you. Yeah, rob you. We will rob you.
I grant this to you and your evil
The boys dressed up and acted like pirates. But they didn't learn a lot about them. So they're off to Cape Breton Island with their first mate, Paul MacDonald. He's going to show them a rock-solid piece of evidence that pirates came aground on the shores of Nova Scotia.
Wow, crazy. Captain Kidd, it looks like a apostrophe N. Manor, M-O-N-D-R-O-R?
It looks like it says deprived of honor. What does it say down there, Jock?
Well, I thought it was apostrophe N, but it almost looks like 17, and then the rock kind of chips away. So maybe it's possibly dating the stone to the 1700s, which would be accurate to when Captain Kidd and the pirates would have been here.
Luke and Jock's third and final stop in their search for pirates past takes them to the Myra River in search for the Myra shipyard. And boat captain Glenn Tuddy knows exactly where to take them.
We're cruising down the Myra River, searching for the location
Of a historic Myra shipyard. Right now we are in the Myra Gut, and right beyond that bridge is the ocean.
With all this shelter on either side, it's easy to see why pirates would use this area to hide away. So what do you know about this potential pirate shipyard?
Well, my father's family came from about a mile from here, and years ago they told stories about the pirates setting up a little base here, going out, doing their plundering, coming back. They had smaller, faster ships than the French or the English, and so they couldn't catch them. And not only the French couldn't get their ships up the river, so they'd come up here and the banks were nice and high and they couldn't see their masks or whatever, and they would stay there until it got safe or do repairs or scrape barnacles, and the story goes on.
Yeah, because if you look up the channel, if you're going by, you wouldn't even think that you could get up there, so it would make a perfect spot if you could make it up there that you go unnoticed.
You could actually drive by this, and if somebody was in there, you wouldn't even notice it.
Well, I think we've come too far to turn around. We should make our way up. Taking our little vessel. You got to untie us there, bud.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm moving forward. That's all that matters. This is
That away. This place is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm still having trouble believing that pirates actually brought a ship up here.
Now this is a really cool spot, but we want to know more about this area.
So we brought our friend Richard Lorway in, who's actually out on a 4.5-foot dinghy at the moment, paddling ashore. He's going to give us a bit more information.
There was a local historian, David Dow, who discovered the remains of some pretty serious technology. At one time there was a lot more water coming in, so they would take their ships in right up around the corner and to that beach and throw them on their side, tie off the mast to a tree, tip it over, scrape off the barnacles on one side, and then flip it the other way and do the other
So
thing.
there's a whole big production house here. Really.
Yeah, well, so the story goes that this may have been an operating shipyard for approximately 100 years.
So I guess you have to imagine that it didn't look like this 300 years ago. I mean, potentially these trees were in here, and potentially that rock may not have been there. That may have been opened up, and it may have been deeper going farther up in.
Well, it was deep coming up into here, but what they wanted was essentially, when they were careening ships, they wanted a relatively smooth beach that they could drag the ship onto that wouldn't, punch holes in the hull, right, basically. It's not rocket science, it's piracy.
So as far as artifacts, has there been anything found that really solidifies what happened here?
Well, they found the remains of a log dam, and they also found what they think is back in 1977, when it was a little more accessible then. They found the remains of the axle of the water wheel, the mill wheel, and that was found back up in the woods.
It almost looks like these rocks were placed here. They're very square, flat edges. It almost looks like there might have been some markings from a tool splitting it. And if you see here, they pretty well look like they're placed together. And there's even a chunk of metal that was laying in between it. It looks like a bolt of some sort with a square head.
This certainly adds to our belief that pirates were here. We're here at the Mug and Anchor for the Pirates Festival.
And despite the weather putting a damper on the festivities, it's not dampering the spirits of our local patrons here. Now, whether it's a festival in Mahone Bay for pirates or a potential pirate shipyard on the Myra, the pirate lore runs strong in this province.